What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to comp a property that was sent to me by one of my students in the One Call Away community. He is talking with a seller in Sarasota right now, and he wanted me to double check his numbers before he made an official offer. So I'm going to pull up his web form that he filled out, and you can see here the property is at 4210 Baird Street in Sarasota. It looks like it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, about 1,200 square feet. New roof, but looks like it needs a full rehab other than that. And it's block, which is good. Seller wants to sell in about a month, and their asking price is 190 to 210. Okay, cool. And he says the seller didn't give me a direct asking price. I threw out 190 to 210 back in December to gauge interest, and she seemed pretty open to that price. She's waiting to hear back from a contractor for a full scope of work to lay out her options. I think she's leaning towards selling it as is because she lives in Chicago and knows that would be a pain trying to fix up for a family house. Okay, and he thinks that the ARV is about 340 to 350. Rehab's going to be 45 to 50K, and his max offer is going to be about 210. All right, cool. So let's check it out. It sounds like it's a good lead, so let's check it out here. Bringing up PropStream. In a previous video, I was doing both windows on Zillow. I don't know why I didn't choose PropStream for one of them before, but I guess that's what happens when you start making videos. You start thinking about this stuff a little bit more. So anyway, I have PropStream pulled up so that we can look at all the information on this side, and then Zillow so we can actually look at the actual comps, because I think it's a little bit more user-friendly to use Zillow, but I like how all of the information is put here pretty conveniently for PropStream. So anyway, let's draw around our neighborhood. So, oops. You don't want to cross any major roads if you don't have to. So we'll see what kind of comps we get here first. Okay, first let's look at sold in the last, let's say, 90 days. Houses, how old is ours? 1957. So we'll go, let's say, 25 years each, 1982 to, what would it be on the other side? 1932? Yeah, 1932. Okay, so we got a couple houses here, and we have a 2-1, and there's 1,200 square feet, so you can probably, I bet there's room to make it a 3-1. Looks like we have a little pond in the backyard too. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, here's a 2-1 that's sold for $333. Wow. Let's see what's up with this. So this was a cash deal, it looks like, or at least off market. But I don't see any pictures. Let's see. Yeah, public record. So it wasn't listed on the MLS. That seems really high, though. Because here's a 3-2. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so this is, I mean, in decent shape. Not the greatest finishes, but it's a solid house. And this sold for the same price. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, let me see. Is there a ton of land on this or something? Okay, yep. It's on a 1/4 acre, so it's on a bigger piece of land. That still seems really high. So I don't trust this count too much. This seems like an outlier, so I'm not going to really pay too much attention to this. And let's filter out anything. How big is our lot? 8,000. So let's filter out anything bigger than 10,000. Okay, so this doesn't give us too much to work with here. We might have to expand out over. Actually, let's go back in time first. Before we start crossing neighborhoods, I want to go back in time. Okay, so here's a couple more comps. 165. This looks like another cash deal, which this seems probably more in line of where we're going to need to buy ours. 840 square feet. Let's see. Okay, this one's concrete. So this is block 2. All right, so this is actually probably going to be a pretty good like as is investor comp. Let's see. All right, yeah, I like this one. I like this as an as is comp. Let's see if we can find some ARV comps though. 3-2, 3-2. So one thing I'm noticing is there's not many 2-bedroom houses. So probably what I'm going to have to be thinking is that a buyer is also going to see that there's not many comps for a 2-bedroom house. Here's one, 318. This has a number. This looks like it's in a different community actually. Not really renovated. Okay, and it also looks like it's in a different community. Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is it looks like there's not many 2-bedroom houses because, or looking at the comp. So a buyer is probably going to be thinking the same thing. So he's really most likely going to want to turn our 2-bedroom into a 3-bedroom, even if it's a 3-1. So here's a 3-2 pending at 395. Doesn't look like it's fully renovated. But again, it's a 3-2. This is not sold yet. Okay. Yeah, again, all of these are 3-2s. Okay, let's go a little bit further and see if we can find anything across McIntosh. This doesn't look like a super busy road. I don't like crossing it, but we're going to have to. That's the 165 we saw before. 245. Ooh, this just sold like yesterday. Let's see what this one looks like. All right, this might be a really good comp here. 245. Wow. That needs a lot of work too. And if the seller's asking price, or if she was receptive to a 190K offer, that sounds like a good deal to me then. It's similar square footage, 245. It's got a garage, which we don't have a garage, but we also have that little pond in the backyard. Okay. All right, so it looks like this was on the market though. Yeah, this sold on the market. So this probably sold to somebody that's going to live in it. I'm not saying that for sure, but when you put a property on the market, it's always a higher chance of it going to somebody that's going to live in it and fix it up. So this probably went for, in my opinion, higher than what we can sell ours for wholesale. But let's keep looking because, all right, here's a 3-1. See if this is renovated. Oops. Carport, 3-1. It's in good shape. It's definitely not a flip, but it's in good shape. Okay, so a 3-1 could probably, if you really did it well, 3-1 maybe we're looking at more like 330. 340. Okay. 2-1 at 285. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, still not a flip. Definitely not a flip. Needs a new kitchen. Probably new flooring. Okay, and that sold at 285. Okay, we're getting a little bit closer now. 360. Let's see what this one looks like. Oops. This one's in pretty good shape. Looks like it's got a pool though. Oop, yeah, it's got a pool. Okay, so that's not going to be, I mean, good to know, but that's not an apples to apples comp with ours because we don't have a pool. That one for 360, and it's pretty small too. We got a lot more square footage than that one. It's 161. I bet this was an off-market deal. This seems like, I bet this was another wholesale deal. Yep, public record. Okay, so we have a couple of as-is comps for 160, 165, and what was the other one? 180, I think. 165, 245. I don't remember. I thought we had another one, but okay, moving on. 65. Here's a 3-1 for 360. Okay. Again, good shape, but not necessarily renovated. Small kitchen, not open kitchen. All right. And this sold for 360. Okay. All right. 2-2 for 350. Let's check this one out. This one's got an extra bedroom, or I'm sorry, bathroom. Let's see what this one looks like. This house is in good shape. Again, not a flip, but all of these are in solid shape. And another thing I'm noticing is a lot of these houses do not have the nicest, like the greatest finishes. Like they're good. There's nothing wrong with them, but that's somewhat cheaper countertop in comparison to like an actual flip, in my experience at least. So doesn't look like you need to have the greatest finishes in the neighborhood to sell properties. So all right, I am thinking that if we can keep our property, or I'm sorry, if we have to keep our property as a 2-1, I think our ARV is probably going to be around 330, maybe 335. But if we can make it a 3-1, I think I messed that up. If we have to keep it as a 2-1, I think our ARV is about 330, 335. If we can make it a 3-bedroom house, so a 3-1 or a 3-2, I think we're probably looking at more like 350 to 360, especially with that little pond in the back. It's not like necessarily waterfront, but it's a selling feature. So, okay, cool. Well, let's bring up the iPad and actually underwrite this deal then so we can come up with a max allowable offer. And again, oops, that's not it. And again, the student that sent this in, his numbers were, he thought that his max allowable offer was about 210. So let's take a look at it. All right, so our ARV, let's say our ARV is that 330. Okay, as a 2-1, and we're going to take off our 8% for closing costs and commissions and stuff for the buyer. So that brings us to $303,600. And then we're going to figure out what our rehab is, which let's take a look and see. So we're at 1,191 square feet. If you times that by, let's call it $60 a square foot, that's going to put us at 70,000, but we have a new roof, so we probably don't need to spend another. We can probably take off, like, I would say maybe 10,000. Let's call it 10,000. Maybe 15,000, but let's be conservative. It's always better to be conservative. So that puts our new rehab budget at 61,000. So now we're at $61,000 in rehab. And a flipper is going to want to make, if that ARV is 330, they're going to want to make roughly 15% on it. So let's say that, and that puts it out at about 50,000. So 50,000 for the flipper's profit. And that's going to give us our wholesale price, which is going to be 61,000 minus 50,000, about 192,000. Okay. All right, so at about 192,000, and this is pretty conservative. So I would say we could probably get a little bit higher than that. Let's call it 200,000. Actually, no, let's stay with the 102,000. Or wow, let's stay with 192,000. That's our wholesale price, right? So that's wholesale, but we're gonna need to make money on that, right? So if we want to make a 20K wholesale fee, then we're gonna want to get the property at 172, right? So that's going to be our MAO, and that's pretty conservative. And that's also one thing I should also mention. That's if it's a a 2-bed 1-bath. If we can make it a 3-bed 1-bath, then we're probably looking at more like 350. And if that's the case, it really doesn't, to frame up a new bedroom, as long as you don't have to move around walls and stuff, if there's somewhere where we can relatively easily frame up a new bedroom to make it a 3-bed 1-bath, you're probably looking at 350 to 360, which would mean that our max allowable offer could be about 200, 210, closer to what he was thinking. So what I'm going to tell him is that it's based off of a 2-1. We're going to have to see the property. If it's a 2-1 and there's really no way to make it a 3-1, our offer is probably going to have to be somewhere around, I would say, that 170 to maybe 175. But if there's a potential for a 3rd bedroom in there, then I think we could probably offer a little bit more if we have to. Now, obviously, we want to get the deal as low as possible, but it's good to know your max allowable offer going into a negotiation with a seller. So that's what I'm going to tell him, and let's see if he locks it up. It looks like a great opportunity, so good job to him. Shout out to Nate. So anyway, yeah, I hope this video helped. Again, this was me underwriting a deal. This is exactly how we underwrite and come up with our max allowable offers. And if you have any questions, comment them below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.